Hi, my name is Brian Clayette, and today in this particular course I'm going to be talking about how to lose your butt in real estate. Now, I know you may be taken aback by that title, How to Lose Your Butt in Real Estate, or How Not to Invest in Real Estate, better yet. I'm here to share my personal journey in real estate investment. A few years back, when I was 24 years old, I bought 2 investment properties. My first time investing in real estate, previously to that, I read almost every book that existed to man, all the Rich Dad Poor Dad stuff, all the Robert G. Allen stuff, Carleton Sheets program, everything that there was available to me on learning how to invest in real estate, quote unquote, the right way. But one thing that I realized after I made my initial investment is that they didn't tell you a lot of things in those books. They didn't mention a lot of things in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Carleton Sheets failed to mention a few things. Robert G. Allen didn't mention a few things, failed to mention a few things as well. So this particular course was developed to help people like you that are considering on either buying a house or buying or purchasing investment property. I'm pretty sure, like myself, you probably read to nauseam, but you still don't have the opportunity to tap a real estate investor on the shoulder or to just talk to someone that made a few mistakes along the way. So far, I've owned my properties for about 9 years, and it has been 9 years of headache. And when I mean 9 years of headache, I mean 9 years of absolute headache. I've made a lot of personal sacrifices due to the economic recession that we just suffered. I actually bought my properties, unfortunately, in the peak of the recession. In the peak of the boom. Okay, I wish I bought it in the peak of the recession. It'd be a different financial situation for myself as well as for any investor. So I bought back in 2006 where the internet boom was almost at its pinnacle. And I probably paid way too much for the particular properties that I bought. But hey, everyone was making money in real estate. I read all these books. I was pumped up. I had missed out on an opportunity to invest in some property in Miami, Florida, where I was in college at the time. While I was at the university, I looked at a small 1-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom apartment, a condo, in a very small kind of garden-style apartment building, not too far from my campus. And I kind of talked to my mom, talked to my dad about this particular opportunity and telling them how things are really heating up in the real estate market there in Miami. So this particular property was listed for about $100,000, $105,000 to be exact. So at the end of the boom, towards the peak of the boom, do you know how much that one unit was selling for? It was selling for close to $295. I mean, just think about all that profit from 105 to 295. Right? A huge amount of equity that could have been built or could have been had I invested at the right time. So I felt a little sour about missing out on that investment opportunity, so I decided to take the money that I had been saving. I'm also an internet marketer, so I made a decent living online, and I was very frugal in saving my money and that kind of thing. So I had a decent amount of money that I wanted to start becoming a real estate investor. I figured multiple streams of income, one of my favorite business books by Robert G. Allen. Not critical of these guys, they left out a lot of details that I wish I knew about. So in buying these, in saving up this amount of money that I had ready to invest, I decided to buy my properties back home in North Carolina. So naturally, I was kind of priced out of the Miami market at the time. I was looking at some high-end condos for myself as a primary residence. But I decided to do some investment property. So as a non-owner occupied property, I think people kind of refer to it as. So I'm not going to be living in these particular properties. Now that might have been mistake number one. Thinking about this whole real estate game, you get the most favorable financing for owner occupied properties. So if you actually live in the house, they'll give you a lower rate if you need a rate. Some people don't need a rate. And I highly suggest that you buy homes as a cash to avoid dealing with banks and dealing with interest and those other kind of strings that come along with financing a property. So that's kind of my first tip. Buy cash if you can. If you can't, you have to get it financed. That's another situation. And depending upon how risk adverse you are or the appreciation in your particular market, it may make sense, it may not make sense. In my case, it did not make very much sense. And like I said, 9 years of struggle. So throughout this course, I hope to share some of the mistakes that I made, some of the things that I did to correct those mistakes, and pretty much just give you other little tips and advice and anecdotal information that will help you become a better investor, or just make your first time home buying experience a little more successful and a little easier. My suggestion to most people is to not buy a house. Yeah, so for me personally, I plan on probably just renting really nice places for the rest of my life, because I don't really see the value in home ownership at this point. In my opinion, and it may be perceived as a bit pessimistic, but in my opinion, the American dream it's not alive. It's sick. If anything, it may be dead to some people. All right, so I'm still pursuing the quote-unquote American dream. I'm just not pursuing the house with the picket fence and the 1.5 children. I don't want 1.5 children. This doesn't sound cool. But aside from that point, as I said, in this course, I'm going to be going over additional information on the mistakes I made, the corrections I made, a little bit about my story and my journey in real estate investing. And as always, if you have any questions about this course, this video, any of the videos that are produced for this particular course, feel free to ask questions or comment, and I will be as responsive as I can. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, happy real estate investing.